Yeah, nice. Let's do it. Right. Welcome back to the Colac Herald's finals game on edition. It's a bit of a two-man show this week, Lou. No Cooper, but kicking us off, we've got the Tigers' big finals game against Newtown at West Oval on Saturday.
Yep.
Round 9 was the last time these two teams played each other. Newtown got over the top, 14-11 to 12-12. The 95-84 final score saw Colac go down. But Lou, what's your first read on this matchup?
Yeah, it's interesting. Newtown, they've kind of been on top of the ladder for the whole season. For the majority of the year, they obviously dropped last week's game in St Mary's, which moved them to second spot. Yep. But I think this is a matchup that Colac would probably prefer.
Okay.
Newtown are a bit more, a younger side, a bit more inexperienced than St Joseph's. So it'll be a really interesting game. I think the Tigers, will really fancy themselves in this one. Some players to watch out for though. Adam Garner and Ben McCarthy, they both got reported in last week's game against Grovedale. Garner for tripping and McCarthy got suspended. We don't know if he's been suspended yet. For striking, so they're going to be ones to watch out for. But Adam Garner, he's been pretty impressive this year. He's kicked. He's led the Tigers with 43 goals, so he'll be a pretty big out if they don't have him in there. For Ben McCarthy as well, he's been just great in the midfield for Colac. He's a real inside midfield bull. He's been in the best place 9 times, so he's a bit of a star as well.
I mean, say that they are out. Do you reckon the Tigers have the depth to be able to cover those positions, or it gets a bit shaky?
Yeah, I think so. They've got some great depth in their reserves at the moment. Guys like Max Buchanan, he played all season. Joel Cooper, I think. He came back in last week. He played reserves the week before that, so they've got plenty of depth there to cover them losses. And I think Seb Ross, he's been playing really well.
Definitely.
He had a great game last week, so if he can even step up a little bit more, that'll be important for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's been battling a couple of injuries throughout the season, but it seems like he's coming back at the right time. 4 goals last week, and like you said, Lou, massive performance and definitely one to watch going forward. Zach Stybel also looks like he's coming back in, which is a big help for the tool, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously we're going to do some predictions later through the show. I don't think either of us can pick against Colac on this one, so hopefully they get up against Newtown and we'll see how it goes on the weekend. Football. CDFNL football. Now to CDFNL football finals, the second week of CDFNL finals. We've got Colac Imperials against Alvie in our first semi-final this weekend. Lou, again, first read on the matchup.
Yeah, head-to-head, one win each. I think Alvie got the best of Imps the first time, and then Imperials, they got the better of Alvie. The second time, that was when Imps have gone on their great run. I think it's 14 wins in a row. It's been a pretty incredible winning streak. But obviously for the Imps, Bailey Scott, he's probably the man to watch for them. 52 goals as a midfielder this year, comes second in the league goal kicking. He probably looks like he's going to win the league best and fairest. So he's the danger man for Alvie when they're up against Imps. But big ground, I think that's going to suit. Big ground, Central Reserve, that'll suit Imperials. A dry day as well. They're quite a quick side, young side. like to run and carry with the ball. But for Alvie, they had a great win last week against Lorne in pretty tough conditions. They really brought the physicality last week, and I'm sure they'll want to do that again this weekend. Yeah,
definitely. And I was talking to former Cats coach Paul Listra, and something that he thought that could be interesting to watch from the Alvie perspective is if they can get the long ball going against the Imps, stop that running game. Maybe that's a way the Swans look to negate the Cats on the weekend. I think conditions last weekend almost would have suited this specific fixture more, with the wind kind of being really strong in one direction. Maybe that would have helped Alvie with their long game, at least when they're going with the wind. But a couple of injury worries for the Swans coming into this game is, we've got Ben Eddy with a bit of a calf worry, Tom Smith with a foot injury. Sam Marnie played through last weekend's game with a back injury, so he finished the game. It'll be interesting to see how he's tracking along for this weekend. Campbell Scott for the Imps is still likely 1 week away, do we think?
Yeah, I think Bailey Scott said he'd probably be the next week's game, or if they win this, they can go straight to the grand final. He'll be available for then. But I'm not too 100% sure. He's got that AC joint injury, which he did is in the second last round, of the season. He'll be touch and go for this week, I would have thought.
Gotcha. And then on the Swans, obviously Dom Dare was huge last week with I think 4 goals.
4 goals,
and it's been big throughout this season, as in seasons past. He's got 68 goals on the year. Jesse Williamson's backing that up with 31 goals, and that's a really strong 1-2 punch for the Swans.
Yeah, definitely. They combined for 7 goals last week, so they'll be a real threat for the Imps defence this weekend, I would have thought.
That leads us to predictions for Saturday's game. It's a difficult one because, you can't really write Alvie off this season, as was shown last weekend. I think the week off probably, it helps every side that gets the time, especially with, even regardless of whether Campbell Scott gets back for the Cats or not, it's just giving your squad the time to get ready, I suppose. I think I'm going to go Imps.
I agree there. I think Imps, it's hard to look past that run of form. I think it is 15 wins in a row, which is pretty incredible. They've been the best side in the comp, apart from the first 3 weeks when they lost their first 3 games. But they've probably been the most consistent side. And I think, as I said earlier, the big ground, dry conditions, I think that's really going to suit Imps.
There you go. Do we want to go score prediction or no?
Nah, it's a bit tough.
Sunday's game sees Lorne get their second chance against Irrewarra Beeac. Big win, close win for the Bombers last weekend. Lou, head-to-heads, what do we think?
Yeah, well, Lorne, they've won both of the games pretty comfortably against Irrewarra Beeac, which would probably make you assume that they should win this one, it's probably not as straightforward as we think. Lorne, obviously, they'll be eager to bounce back. They had a pretty disappointing loss to Alvie last week, and Ed Kerno just said his side just weren't physical enough, didn't bring their effort at the start of the game, which obviously proved pretty costly for them. But for Irrewarra Beeac, I suppose we just can't write them off. They made a grand final last year out of probably nowhere. No one really expected them to do, and they just seem to be able to really perform well in finals. So they can't be written off at all. For Lorne, James Hughes, he's obviously been a really strong player for them. He plays forward, plays ruck, lead their goal kicking with 29 goals, and he's been in the best 9 times. So he's a real dominant player for them, and he's one. If he can get on top, he's a pretty classy player.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Charlie McCartan, he kind of hugged one end of the ground last weekend based on the conditions. So whichever way, like when Lorne were going forward with the wind on their backs, played forward, going against the wind in defence. It's probably the best intercept defender in the league.
I would have thought, yeah. And as you said just then, it's pretty good luxury for Lorne to have to be able to swing him at either end. I think he's got 29 goals when he's played forward, so he can play at either end, which is a big asset for them. Big one.
Another big one could be Dolphins getting back Bailey van der Heuvel. That's one to wait and see whether he'll be in the game or not. Just one point that I wanted to touch on that you brought up earlier about why you can't write off Werribee. I do wonder how much of this of Cam Parker's last season, every game could be his last game with the club at a certain point. How much that's kind of driving on this Bombers side. Maybe a bit of motivation. Obviously a bit of motivation. You want to win for your coach every possible chance you get.
And he's been to 2 grand finals as well.
And he's been to,
He's fallen short both times, so I'm guessing that would be pretty motivated to try and get him, send him off in the best way, I suppose.
Yeah. Third time's the charm and all that. For Warra, Nick Stonehouse is a bit of a wait and see with his shoulder still. He was best on ground against the Saints. Cooper Stevens, as well as the likes of Tom Ennell, Tom Swain. It's a bit similar to what we were saying with that Imps Alvie matchup. Maybe they're going to like that space, bigger ground, as you said before, Lou.
They're all 3 of them are really good ball users, and they love to run and carry with the ball. So I think that'll be pretty crucial for Irrewarra Beeac if they're to win this game.
There you go. Leads us to predictions then. Lou, you pointing out head-to-heads was 2-0 to the Dolphins. It does make it very difficult. I kind of want to go Bombers. They find a way no matter the matchup it has seen this season. I'm going to go Bombers.
Yeah, I can't agree with you there. I think I'm gonna. It's hard to look past Lorne. I mean, they've beaten them twice this year, and they have really been one of the best sides. Them and Imps have kind of been them two top sides. So for them to go out in straight sets would be huge. But so I'm backing them to have a win this weekend.
Here we go.
Now to CDFNL netball. In the second semi-final, we've got Irrewarra Beeac taking on Alvie. These two sides have had some pretty close games during the year. What have you kind of seen from them ones?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2-0 to Werribee this season. Average margin of 10 goals. The first match-up, the Swans had Ruby Bowers. The second one they didn't, so it's a bit more of a blowout in that one. I mean, Werribee, one loss. Swans have been up and down, so it's been almost a tale of two cities almost with the teams this season. I think what we saw last week with the Swans' 14-goal win against the Cats was a championship side really rear its head again. Regardless of the troubles that they might have had throughout the season on the court. They really gelled, holding the league's best attack to under 40 goals is massive, and the work from Bowers, from Chelsea Hillman was monumental.
I was going to ask how important is Ruby Bowers to that side? As you said, she said she must be just such a difference maker for that side.
She is, she is. I mean, I think we tracked earlier in the year, Lou. Her on and off kind of figures over 2 or 3 years span that she's been there. And it's around a 20 goal difference when she plays, which is a stark contrast, obviously. This game's got a lot of history. 2024, Swans won both finals matches to get the flag, but it was one each in the home and away season. In 2023, Bombers win the flag, but 1-1 finals, 1-1 in the home and away season. So
2022 Alvie.
2022,
Irrewarra. So these guys have played in the last 3 grand finals. So it's a pretty great rivalry these two have built. I expect it to be pretty close again.
Massive.
This weekend.
Definitely. One to look out for was Hayley Foster last weekend. She really fired up against the Cats, but she's running up against a pretty strong Bombers defence.
Yeah, definitely. Irrewarra Beeac, they've got the joint best defence in the competition statistically, and it's a bit of a new look defence for Irrewarra. Obviously, Jeremy Robinson, she's been playing in defence in the past few years. She's moved to attack. And young Emmy Frith, she's been really good, really impressive in that defence, goal defence. For the Bombers, and Grace Garner, obviously a league best and fairest winner, so she's a star and goalkeeper as well.
I think one more thing I am quite interested to look at is, obviously Irrewarra has got some experience with the likes of Rhiannon White and players like that. Rex Roger as well. But it's definitely a team which is a bit more varied with the range of ages of players. We've got that experience that we mentioned. We've got the youth of Emmy Frith, Ruby Hall, exactly. And how do those younger players kind of show up against the
experienced side like Alvie? It's going to be really interesting to see how they match up.
Exactly.
That's going to be it's going to be a big test for them young girls. I think they're still under 17 netballers, so. But they've proved all year that they've been able to do it, and they've only lost 1 game, so it should be interesting.
Definitely. Leads us to predictions. What are we leaning, Lou? Where's your pick?
I'm going to go Irrewarra.
I'm going to go Irrewarra.
So they've only had the 1 loss this year. I think that's hard to look past. Only losing 1 game for the year. They've obviously proven that they've been the side to beat this year. So I'm going to back them into to win this weekend. What about you, mate?
So I picked Cats last time we did this. I didn't feel great about the pick. With Bowers coming back into that defence, and obviously it's not just about one player, but as we said, 20 goal difference, it's big. I'm going to go Alvie. I think they're peaking at the right time, gelling a bit more. And like I said, I can't get over watching how, obviously it's finals, everyone's going to get into the game, but how much they rose to the occasion against the strength of the Cats. So Alvie's my pick on this one. Imps Bere.
Who are you going? Moving on to Sunday's do or die semi-final. It's Colac Imperials taking on Birregurra. They've had some pretty close matchups during the year. What have you kind of seen from them ones?
Yeah, you're right, Lou. It's been 1-1 during the home and away season between these two sides. Round 3, Imps won by 7. Round 12, Saints got over the top by 2. I think it was 61-59. But this is the first time that these sides are playing each other in finals in 3 years. And in the last 3 home and away seasons, they're 3-3 as well. And obviously there's movement on the roster and players coming in and out. But for teams to be this neck and neck over this large of time span is quite interesting. I think it's going to be interesting to see, Beth Sudholz came back in defence for the Saints last weekend and proved a big in against the Roos. Kiara Foster is, averages the most goals per game, really dangerous up front. So Sudholz coming back in at the right time is massive for the Saints. It really kind of levels the playing field a bit more. Saskia Rowan has said throughout the season that Imps are the team that they've got their sights on, in the sense of like, right, this is the one that we really need to be ready for. She said that at multiple occasions. But on the Imps side, the loss to Alvie probably only fires them up. We heard and saw Eliza Cahill went down late in the fourth, but should be okay.
Yeah, I think she should be fine. Okay. She should be good to go. I would have thought, like, you got to probably play through a bit of injury in a game like this. It's a do or die game. There's no tomorrow for the losers, so I expect her to play. The co-coach, I'm sure she'll return. But one to watch out for is from Birregurra is Tess Blake. She scored 33 goals the first time they played. 46 a second. So maybe she kind of worked out how to play that Imperials defence. So she'll be a pretty important player, I would have thought, in attack for Birregurra.
Definitely. And Saskia Rowan said that Tess Blake apparently travels around with a netball wherever she goes. So when she's driving around, she sees a hoop, it's time to practice. So I'm sure she'll bring her A game this Sunday. Predictions, Lou, where are you going?
I'm going to go Birregurra.
Birregurra?
Yeah, I've been really big on Birregurra this year. I think they just missed out on the top three by only a couple of points, but I think they're a really good side. They're well balanced. Maddie Capsalis in wing attack, she's been a star for them this year, a big recruit. But I think they're a really well balanced team. They've got great experience across the court, so I'm actually going to go Birregurra.
Going to go Birri. Nice.
What about you?
Good pick. I went Birri last week. I think I'm doing a complete 180 on the picks from last week. I went against Alvie last week, picking them this week. I'm going to go Imps. I think that the loss to the Swans, maybe not that they needed a wake-up call, but now, as you said, it's do or die, back against the wall. You've got a lot of experience as well as young excellence in the form of Kiara Foster and Isabel Scott as well in defence. It's a big player for them. So Imps is going to be my pick this week.
Now moving on to Colac's first grand finals of the winter sports. We've got the Colac Braves in action. Their Division 2 side will take on Lara Wildcats, and it's been a pretty even battle between them two sides throughout the year.
It has, Lou. It has. We've had one win, one loss, a tie, a 7-all tie with the Wildcats. They beat this Lara side, the Braves beat this Lara side 11-1 to get to the grand final in the qualifying round. Brad Egan pitched the entire game, the full 7 innings, which was interesting because coming in, talking to President Jamie Harris, he was saying we might see a bit of a mix between him, Brendan DiLorenzo, and then we've also seen the Braves bats throughout the season have taken their time in some games to get rolling. They were aware of this. They said towards the back end of the season, right, we've really got to make sure that we start early, start strong. In the game in which they beat this Lara side to get to the granny, we saw Matt Noon and Michael Reed, about 3 runs in. So hopefully, those middle order bats are able to deliver once again. But definitely looking for some top order bats to get rolling against this Lara outfit.
Yeah, for sure. And joining the Division 2 side is the Division 4 boys. They got Werribee Giants, and that's another really close battle them two sides have had this year.
It is. One win apiece for both of the sides. This Div 4 Brave sides actually lost to the Giants in the qualifying round 9-10.
Was that their first loss of the season?
It was not their first loss of the season, but it was a very close. I think it was definitely their closest loss of the season, in the sense that you lose by a run. They had bases loaded, so they were primed, ready for a late comeback. Couldn't quite get over the top, but hopefully different this time round. That's all from Lou and I. Good luck to all finals teams this weekend, whether it be Tigers or everyone playing at Central. Special shout out to the Braves to have not just one but two teams in a grand final is a massive achievement for the club, and hopefully some good results coming out the weekend.
Good on you, lad.
Good on you, lad.
It's only quarter past 10.